right, boys and girls, before we move on to our centers, let's review what we need to do. What does excellent work look like? What should you be doing during your centers? Turner?
Doing your best.
Doing your best, absolutely. What else, Vinny?
Not talking to whoever you're with and like focusing on what you're working on.
Definitely focusing on what you're working on. And then that you sort of help transition to talk. You may talk within your group using your inside voice. Your conversation should be about work. Should we be talking about like, hey, guess what? I'm going to Universal over Thanksgiving. No. We're going to be talking about word problems or place value or any of the math things that we have been learning. I want to hear math language. I don't want to hear about Universal or, going to the beach for Thanksgiving, okay? Move. Can you move from your group? No, unless you need to speak to me. Remember, laptops, if you're on the laptop, you're at your desk. Word problems, you're at the back table. Game time, you're on the carpet. Teacher time, you're with me. Okay? Any questions about what it's supposed to look like, how you're supposed to be talking, or how you're supposed to be moving? No? All right, so listen, boys and girls. In this, here's a little survey. Which, do you guys know what a survey is?
Yeah, it's like a menu.
It's kind of like a menu. So before we break, we're going to get in a straight line, and you're going to answer this question. Do you understand two-step word problems? If you do, you're going to click the green smiley face. If you don't, you're going to click the yellow. And then the red, you're going to, if you don't understand it, click red. If yellow, you're like, maybe sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I will add an extra minute to our transition time because we're going to do a survey. Do you need to stand here and look and be like, Biddy doesn't understand word problems? No, you're just going to go like this. Just walk by. Let's see. Work. Oh, sorry. Let's see, is it working? Oh, so it's not even going to show us. So you know what? All you do is come by, click, and then it will tell us. I don't know why. I need to figure out how to start that over. But you're just going to click it, and then I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay? Any questions? Yes, Turner? You can we'll just get into a straight line real quick, and then we're going to do it. Ready? Break. All right, go. Yes, go to your center. You guys are doing awesome. I love how quiet you are. Here you're transitioning. Boys and girls, I think I need to add the survey every time. This transitioning is awesome. And look, I even set the timer and it still is like working. You guys are right where you need to be. Awesome job.
Hi. Hey, here we are again.
Exactly. One of my favorite places.
That's so funny. So, do you have any pressing concerns or anything? I know we're at our last video, I suppose, on improving what we've talked about and learned about. Do you have any pressing concerns going on in your life or in classroom or anything you want to talk about?
Not at the moment.
So, are you okay with us discussing like all what we've been doing?
I'd love to.
Because sometimes people want to talk about other things.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so some of the things we need to think about are to confirm our direction that we did with our goal. So given the time we have today, what's the most important thing for us to talk about? What do you think?
Well, I think probably like what the problem was, what we did to help solve the problem, and then the progress that we've made, or I've made, you've helped helped make me get there, and like where I can go forward.
Okay, great. It sounds like I'm on the same page as you. So our goal was student behavior, right? That's what we started off with, and we looked at that. We videoed the class. We thought about that, and we're like, yeah, behavior was the issue we saw. And then we met again, and we realized that, honestly, it was more like transition time.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
I completely, 100% agree.
Okay, so then we kind of looked at the data, and we would say probably about 50% of your class was having trouble. Like when you would teach your lesson, they were fine. They listened and everything, but then when they had to get up and transition, they were having difficulty.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
I completely agree with that.
So then we sat down and we talked about ways we could improve it. And so that's where Classroom Screen came in.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought maybe giving them a time period would work great. And then we talked about a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
And would that help? So do you think that discussion?
I think that discussion absolutely helped. I think just sort of realizing how to maximize the instructional time and not so much like the distractions of transitioning and the behaviors that come with transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
I think the checklist and I think having the timers and the classroom screen has really made a huge difference, and it actually motivates them to want to improve their time. Like, if I give them a minute, I think I can do it in 50 seconds.
Oh, that's great.
I think that they are definitely trying to maximize, even if they might not know it, maximize their instructional time just by motivation of trying to beat a time.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad it's added another level of
Exactly.
excitement, because that's what you want. You want the students to be engaged. So that's cool. So really looking at our data, improving from, I would say 50% to probably 95%, maybe one student, maybe two have a little bit of trouble following, but they kind of stand out. So I think they kind of are like self-checking themselves to figure out like, hey, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, and everybody else is.
Right, exactly.
So you agree with that, like there?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then improvements. I mean, we did the Act, Talk, Move checklist, and do you think that's a strategy you want to continue using, and using Classroom Screen and having a timer?
Yes, I think it just sort of sets the motivation and the standard of what the expectations are and what they know they're able to do, what they can do, and just sort of reinforcing that. Because even though, yes, we do all these rules and procedures and set up at the beginning of the year, they need the constant reminders.
Yeah, and I don't think that you have to tell them every day, this is what we do to act, this is what we do to move, and all that. I think like maybe a once a week refresher is a good idea.
Or like at the beginning of the week before I start my centers, like maybe just being like, hey, these are the expectations of the week.
And you can also pull into there like what kids in their group have seen. Like, I don't like it when so-and-so does this.
Right.
So it's a great opportunity to like talk as a class. You could even do it in your morning meeting, kind of just going through that and just making sure everybody's on the same page. Because I know in my class, a lot of kids get off task very easily. They're supposed to be playing a game, and then they'll flip a pencil or something like that, and then they're off task just like that, and they get annoyed. So yeah, I think that the technology is improving, and I'm seeing the changes in my class. Everything that I show you, I model in my class as well, and so it's pretty exciting. So our next goals. And I wanted to talk about that Classroom Screen when I recorded you the other day. I know you had a little bit of trouble with that, the survey. So I just wanted to point out real quick. Can you turn that around real quick? And on this survey right here, the really cool thing, and I think you just didn't realize that it did this, but here, this turns off the results.
Okay.
And then if you click here, then the kids can see the results.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. And it looks like the majority of your class, we're feeling pretty good about it for the most part. You've got a couple of students that had the red. So this gives you really instant feedback on your math and their work problems. So that's great. So just wanted to point that out to you. And then the last thing I want to talk about is our next steps. Where do you think we go from here? Do we keep the same goal? Do we check in weekly on Mondays would be a good thing? We can like make a plan. What do you think?
I think a weekly check-in would be good.
And you want to keep the same goal, or do you think we should maybe modify and kind of see where we need a different goal, or what are you thinking?
I mean, I think right now the goal has been met and it's working. I think if I start to see issues within the class of that, because kids get accustomed to things and get used to routines, and sometimes that, like, the effect starts to wear off.
Right, and I was thinking about that too. I was thinking, how can we make it better, like particularly Classroom Screen? Well, the cool thing about that is you've got different backgrounds. You could like change up the words, you could change up the colors, the different fun features there. You could make it a race. You could set, like, since you're saying your class is excited about competing because they're pretty competitive, you could put like, on Monday we got this, and Tuesday, so they can kind of see like the difference and see the time change. That would be another teaching facet that you could put in there.
I mean, so I think it's just sort of, if we just can do a check-in, and, we can always adapt the needs down the road. But right now, I mean, I feel like I had my problem and then we slowly worked to where, the class is doing what they need to be doing. Our transitions are, moving a lot smoother. My instructional time is maximized. So I think, I mean, right now I'm in a good spot.
All right, that's awesome. That's what we want to be. And we'll check in on Mondays. We'll set like a firm time. That doesn't have to be long. I know we've got a lot
Yeah.
on our plates, but maybe just like a quick 5-minute check-in. And if you need me to change or help you with anything, I'll be happy to. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you want to work on, I'll be happy to help you.
Awesome. Thanks, Becky.
Okay, thanks.